We live in a world where the unseen is often dismissed, where the invisible forces that shape our very existence are called fantasy, superstition, or coincidence. But what if I told you that the most powerful abilities a human being could ever possess are not physical, not intellectual, but spiritual, and that these powers exist across dimensions, far beyond what we can perceive with our five senses? What if I told you that you may already be using some of them without even knowing it? This isn't just theory. This is ancient truth hidden in plain sight. And today, I'm going to take you into the heart of it. Into the 7 types of spiritual powers that exist across all dimensions, the known and the unknown, the visible and the invisible, the physical and the energetic. But before we dive into what these powers are, we must first understand why they exist. Spiritual power is not something you chase. It's something you unlock. It's coded into your being like a dormant seed waiting for the right conditions to bloom. It's not about reading more books or accumulating more knowledge. It's about remembering who you were before the world taught you who to be. And remembering that you are not just a body with a soul, but a soul with access to infinite bodies of experience, scattered across dimensions, timelines, and planes of reality. The idea that there are only 3 dimensions, height, width, and depth, is a limitation of the physical mind. In truth, there are layers of reality existing simultaneously, and some of us are born with the ability to tap into these realms, while others awaken to them through pain, transformation, or divine timing. The 7 types of spiritual powers are not random talents. They are archetypal energies, universal frequencies that align with the deeper architecture of consciousness itself. The first type of spiritual power is energetic transmutation, the ability to take dense, heavy, low-frequency energy and alchemize it into something higher. This isn't metaphorical. It's a literal energetic process. You've seen it in healers who can walk into a room full of chaos and bring peace just by being there. You felt it when someone listens to your pain without judgment, and your suffering suddenly begins to dissolve. This is not sympathy, it's transmutation. People with this power often endure a lot of trauma early in life, not as punishment, but as preparation. The universe gives them first-hand experience with darkness so they can learn how to transform it. Have you ever noticed that people come to you with their problems, even strangers? That they leave feeling better, lighter, more open? That's not an accident. That's the first sign. Energetic transmutation is not a technique. It's a frequency. You become the alchemist, and your presence is the crucible. The second type is dimensional perception. This is the ability to perceive beyond the physical realm. Those who carry this gift often have vivid dreams that feel more real than waking life. They may see flashes of light, colors around people, entities in the corners of rooms. They may hear whispers when no one is speaking, or feel presences that others can't sense. This isn't madness. It's sensitivity to multiple layers of reality. If you've ever had a moment where time seemed to bend, where you felt like you were in 2 places at once, or received information that couldn't have come from your logical mind, you're already touching the edge of this gift. But here's the key: it doesn't work on command. It flows when your mind is still, when your ego is silent, when your awareness expands. The more you try to control it, the more it slips away. But when you surrender to it, it begins to reveal the hidden architecture of existence. You begin to see the truth beneath the illusion, and once you see it, you can never unsee it. The third type is frequency manipulation. This is not about controlling others, it's about mastering your own vibration. Everything is energy. Everything vibrates. And those who understand this power can shift their internal frequency to affect outcomes in the external world. Think about it: how many times have you been in a situation where your panic made things worse and your calm made things better? That wasn't psychological. That was energetic. People with this power can influence environments, outcomes, and even other people's emotions, not by force, but by coherence. When your energy is stable, clear, and aligned, it becomes a tuning fork for the world around you. Chaos begins to organize itself. Conflict begins to melt. Opportunities begin to appear. But this power comes with a sacred responsibility. You cannot manipulate frequency for selfish gain without consequence. The universe watches intention more closely than action. So ask yourself, what frequency are you living in right now? And what would happen if you learned to master it instead of being mastered by it? The fourth type is soul memory. Access the ability to tap into the wisdom of your past lives, your ancestral lineage, and even your soul's cosmic origin. This isn't about remembering names and dates. It's about unlocking the essence of who you've always been. Ever had a moment where you just knew something without knowing how? Or been drawn to a spiritual tradition, language, or symbol with no logical reason why? That's your soul remembering. People with this ability are often called old souls, but it's deeper than that. They carry codes, ancient imprints of knowledge that activate when they're exposed to certain environments or experiences. Sometimes it's a place, sometimes it's a book, sometimes it's a person. But when it happens, it's like a door opens inside you, and suddenly you remember. You remember your mission. You remember your role in the greater cosmic dance, and that memory becomes your compass. So I ask you now, what if your greatest power is not something you need to learn, but something you need to remember? That's the beginning of the journey, and we're just getting started.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
When we talk about spiritual powers, most people imagine something loud, dramatic, or visually astonishing like levitation, telekinesis, or channeling lightning from the sky. But the deepest powers, the ones that transcend dimensions and ripple across timelines, are often the quietest. They are hidden not because they are secret, but because most people never slow down enough to notice them. These final three types of spiritual powers are not just abilities, they are states of being. They require a level of stillness, presence, and purity that cannot be faked. They are subtle forces, often invisible to the eye but unmistakable to the soul. And once activated, they change everything, not just for you, but for every being your energy touches. The fifth type of spiritual power is conscious manifestation through non-resistance. Most people misunderstand manifestation. They think it's about visualizing harder, saying enough affirmations, or forcing their desires into existence. But true manifestation, across all dimensions, happens when you align yourself so fully with the present moment that you cease to resist what is, and in doing so, you open the portal to what could be. The paradox is this: the moment you stop chasing what you want with desperation, and instead become a vibrational match to it through presence and peace, it begins to flow to you effortlessly. This is why some people seem to attract opportunities, connections, and breakthroughs without trying. Their energy is in harmony with the flow of the universe. They're not trying to bend reality to their will, they're becoming the kind of being for whom that reality is natural. If you've ever had something you deeply desired arrive the moment you let go of needing it, you've already tasted this power. It's not about making things happen. It's about allowing them to happen through you. The sixth type is divine communication, or what some call spiritual clairaudience or interdimensional listening. This doesn't always mean hearing voices. It can come as intuition so clear it feels like someone whispered it in your ear. It can come as a song playing at the exact moment you needed that message. It can be numbers, symbols, or synchronicities that guide you like breadcrumbs through the forest of your life. Those who hold this power have developed a deep listening not just to the outer world, but to the inner one. They have quieted the noise of the mind enough to hear the signal beneath the static. This is not about being special, it's about being still. The universe is always speaking. The question is, are you listening? When activated, divine communication becomes a two-way dialogue. You begin to ask with your heart and receive with your soul. You begin to trust your inner knowing more than external opinions. You begin to live guided not by logic, but by resonance. And with time, this power evolves into something even greater, the ability to become a messenger for others. You'll find yourself speaking words you didn't plan, offering wisdom you didn't study, or writing things that feel like they came from somewhere beyond you. Because they did. You become a conduit for the infinite. And with this power comes a sacred responsibility, to speak only what is true, and only when the moment is right. The seventh and final type of spiritual power is the rarest, and perhaps the most misunderstood, pure presence as healing force. This is the power of being so rooted, so still, so deeply anchored in your own soul that your very presence begins to recalibrate others. You don't need to speak. You don't need to teach. You don't need to do anything. You simply are, and in that being, others remember who they are. This power transcends technique. It bypasses intellect. It is the energy of the awakened heart, the kind that doesn't try to fix or save, but that sees and accepts without condition. You've probably met someone like this. Someone whose presence made you feel safe, seen, and whole without them saying a single word. That's not charisma. That's not charm. That's soul resonance. And if you've ever been told that people feel better just being around you, if others open up to you without knowing why, if you find yourself anchoring peace in chaotic environments, that power is already alive in you. But here's the truth. All 7 of these powers are not just gifts, they are invitations. They are invitations to remember who you are beyond your name, beyond your story, beyond your body. They are invitations to shift from survival to sovereignty, from fear to frequency, from limitation to luminosity. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to beg for them. You are them. They are encoded in your soul, waiting for you to get quiet enough, still enough, true enough to let them rise. So let me ask you something that could change your life. What if your purpose isn't to become something more, but to become something less distracted, less conditioned, less afraid, so that what you truly are can finally be revealed? Because the powers are already inside you, hidden perhaps, dormant maybe, but never gone. And now, it's time to remember. Now that we've remembered these 7 spiritual powers, the question becomes, what do we do with them? It's one thing to recognize these forces in theory, to feel the stirrings of something ancient within, but it's another thing entirely to apply them, to walk into your everyday life and live as the embodiment of these truths. This is where most people stop. They feel the call, they taste the potential, but they don't translate the mystical into the material. And yet, that's the entire reason you're here. You didn't come to Earth just to awaken, you came to embody. You didn't come to escape this world, you came to transform it by anchoring higher frequencies into the physical plane. And to do that, you must learn to turn your spiritual powers into practical tools. Let's begin with energetic transmutation. This power becomes useful the moment you stop trying to fix your emotions and instead learn to feel them fully, consciously, without judgment. Every time you experience anger, grief, jealousy, fear, pause. Don't react. Don't suppress. Just witness. Breathe into the sensation. Ask yourself, what is this energy trying to teach me? Then visualize it transforming, burning, shifting, dissolving into a higher form. This isn't imaginary. Your subconscious, your field, responds to intention. The more often you do this, the more you'll realize that no emotion is your enemy. You'll start to see every shadow as fuel, every trigger as a door, every wound as a portal through which your soul can shine brighter. That's how you turn pain into power. Dimensional perception, too, must be trained like a muscle. You can't expect clarity from a cluttered mind. If you want to see into other dimensions, you must first clear space in this one. That means simplifying your environment. That means reducing stimulation. That means spending time in silence, real silence, so that your inner senses can begin to wake up. Every day, take just a few minutes to sit with your eyes closed and ask, what do I feel beyond my body? What do I see behind my thoughts? Don't force answers, just listen. Pay attention to colors, feelings, subtle shifts in awareness. You are not just learning to see, you are learning to trust what you see. And over time, your inner vision will become just as reliable as your outer one. Now let's speak of frequency manipulation. The most powerful way to shift your frequency is to become aware of your state in every moment. Are you operating from fear or love, from scarcity or trust, from contraction or expansion? Your state becomes your signal. When you catch yourself spiraling into low vibration, don't shame yourself, shift. Use breath, use movement, use mantra, use music, use nature. These are tools. Your toolkit is always with you. If you change your frequency, you change your reality. But remember, it's not about pretending to be high vibe. It's about being honest about where you are, and then choosing to elevate from a place of self-love, not self-rejection. Soul memory access becomes actionable when you begin to document and follow the breadcrumbs. If a place, symbol, name, or culture keeps showing up in your life, don't write it off. Explore it. Meditate on it. Ask your higher self, why does this feel familiar? Keep a journal of your dreams and intuitive hits. Patterns will emerge. Your soul will start showing you what it already knows, and the more you trust it, the more it will reveal. You'll begin to see how your current life is a continuation of a much larger story, and you'll stop asking, "What's my purpose?" because you'll remember it. As for conscious manifestation, the secret is radical presence. Not just visualizing your dream life, but feeling it in your body as if it already exists. Every morning, take a few minutes to anchor into the emotion of already having what you desire. Then, forget about it. Let it go. Live your day with joy, with trust, with openness. When you stop needing it, you become the version of you who already has it. And reality bends to that version. Divine communication can be activated by asking better questions. Every evening before sleep, ask your guides or higher self a single clear question. Something real, something meaningful. Then watch what shows up in your dreams, in your thoughts the next morning, in the conversations around you. The answers are always there, but you must learn to ask with sincerity and then listen without expectation. Lastly, the power of pure presence must be practiced in every interaction. When you're with someone, put your phone down. Look them in the eye. Listen not just to their words, but to their energy. Be with them fully. That's presence. And the more you do this, the more you'll notice people open up around you. They feel seen. They soften. They're healed not by your advice, but by your attention. This is the most underrated spiritual power in the world, and yet it's the one that changes lives the fastest. So I ask you now, what if the most powerful thing you could do today wasn't to escape your life, but to enter it more fully with your heart open, your soul awake, and your spirit grounded in truth? Because that's how the soul's toolkit works, not with spectacle, not with ego, but with presence, with practice, and with purpose. There is a reason why not everyone walks this path. There's a reason why spiritual power, true power, not illusion or performance, is rare. It's not because the universe is withholding it. It's because the price of power is everything you think you are. You cannot hold divine energy in a vessel still clinging to false identity. You cannot channel multidimensional wisdom through a mind that refuses to be emptied. Before you gain, you must lose. Not as punishment, but as purification. This is the ultimate test. Are you willing to let go of everything that is not truly you, so that what is eternal in you can rise? When we ask for spiritual power, we rarely understand what we're really asking for. We think we're asking for gifts, clarity, peace, maybe even influence or healing ability. But what we're actually asking for is transformation. And transformation is not gentle. It is fire. It burns away the layers of illusion, the attachments, the roles we've been playing. It strips us of our masks. It takes us to the edge of emptiness, and there in the silence it asks, who are you now? When your titles are gone, when your relationships shift, when even your beliefs fall apart, who are you? This is why the path of power is also the path of loss. Not because the universe is cruel, but because it is wise. It knows that you cannot carry the weight of truth if you are still trying to please, to perform, to control. So it breaks you not to punish you, but to reveal you. It takes everything you thought you needed until all that remains is the essence, the soul, the still point, the part of you that cannot be destroyed because it was never born. Have you noticed that your greatest awakenings came after your deepest heartbreaks? That the most powerful realizations came not in moments of glory, but in moments of surrender? That's not coincidence. That's the curriculum. Every loss was a test. Every closed door was sacred redirection. Every breakdown was an initiation. You weren't failing, you were being forged. You don't become a vessel for divine power by accident. You become one through fire, through silence, through radical honesty, through facing the parts of yourself that are terrified, ashamed, or clinging, and saying to them, "You are safe now. You can let go." That's when the shift happens. That's when the universe begins to trust you with more. Not because you're perfect, but because you're pure, empty of ego, full of presence, willing to serve instead of control, willing to surrender instead of grasp, willing to love without condition. And yes, it's terrifying. The ego fights back. It tells you you'll be nothing without your image, your status, your certainty. But the soul whispers something deeper. You were never those things. You are what remains when they are gone. And what remains is vast. It is ancient. It is powerful beyond measure. So if you feel like you're being stripped, like your life is being dismantled, like the things you thought would last are falling away good, you're not being destroyed. You're being prepared. You're being shown what you can live without so you can discover what you can't. And what you can't live without is truth, alignment, soul, the deeper force that's always been guiding you, even in the dark. This is the final test. Not whether you can perform spiritual power, but whether you can hold it. Can you stay grounded when others project onto you? Can you remain silent when your ego wants to explain? Can you walk away from what no longer resonates, even if it once brought you comfort or applause? Can you trust the unknown? Can you love without demand? Can you serve without seeking recognition? Because when you can, the universe gives you everything. Not because you need it, but because you no longer do. And that's when the miracles begin. Not the flashy kind, the real ones. The kind where your presence shifts rooms, where your words awaken hearts, where your being becomes a doorway through which others remember their own light. So I leave you with this question, perhaps the most important question of all. What are you still holding on to that is keeping you from holding the power that is already yours? When you are ready to let it go, you'll find that the powers were never far away. They were waiting for this exact moment, for you.